What's going on? I'll be Fitness Gaming, and you've seen the title of the video. You know why you're here. Green White ValueTown, and today we're playing against Slivers, modern Slivers. So let's go ahead and go over this matchup here and talk about some of the plays, some of the decisions, and then I'll also be asking you guys if the opponent played their deck optimally. That seems to be the gimmick behind all my games here, because it is the best way that I like to learn how to play against these matchups. I don't play every deck in Modern. As you guys know, I play green-white style decks, mono white death and taxes list. I'm familiar with a lot of these decks because I play against them. So I rely on you guys to let me know whether or not the opponent misplayed, what they could have done differently. That way it can better my game and my gameplay. And for those of you guys who play similar decks to me, it can help you guys get better and build better versions of these decks. And we could build a community where we just take over with death and taxes and mono and green white. And Wizards just decides we're just going to ban all the green and white cards. And yeah. No, we don't want that to happen, obviously. I'm just joking. But anyways, so we're leading off here with the Knight of the Reliquary on our second turn. So opponent plays Cavern of Souls, Aether Vial, Cavern on Slivers. So immediately I already know, okay, this is an aggressive deck. The way they beat us is by going wide and going in hard and finishing us off. So the thought process here and the game plan is, okay, we need to put them on defense. We need to take them off their game plan of winning the game, which is being aggressive, being aggro. And one of the ways we do that is by putting them on defense. If they're on defense, they can't really attack us. They're not executing their game plan. They're not going to win the game. Very simple. How do we put them on defense? We play bigger threats. We play things that gain us life, slows them down. We kill whatever creatures are their best creatures, and basically we just keep them on their back foot. That is how we prevent us from dying against aggressive decks. So that's the plan. So Aether Vial, Gale Rider, Sliver, Cloud Shredder, Sliver. Two really good Slivers here, but nothing too threatening here. Taken to a turn is not going to really do anything to us. We do have Path to Exile, and we do have a Knight of Reliquary in play, and a Collected Company. Collected Company hitting Skyclave is good, hitting Courser is good, hitting another Knight is good, hitting Stoneforge Mystic, grabbing a Sword of Fire and Ice is good. So we have a lot of good cards in this matchup, and with Collected Company, we're going to be able to hit, at least one or two of them. And we hit Stoneforge Mystic and Courser. Really two good cards here. Courser is a good blocker, although they do have flying, so it's kind of irrelevant in that sense, but it is going to gain us life. It's going to buffer our life total, and because of Knight fetching out lands, we're going to be able to generate more life that way, which can negate some of the damage that they do, which does buy us a little bit of time and help us on our strategy. We have now the Stoneforge Mystic, which gets us the Sword of Fire and Ice. This is going to accelerate the game plan as far as putting them on defense once that sword hits play. Since we do have Knight of the Reliquary as one of our biggest threats, as the biggest threat on the battlefield, already I'm thinking we're not going to equip the sword to the Knight. There's no need to make our Knight any bigger. That card is going to steamroll anything they play by itself. So putting it on the Courser is really good, because that's going to allow us to have two very big threats. So right now I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna put again, like I mentioned, we want to put them on defense because that's gonna assure that they can't kill us, and we're just gonna win the game. So putting the sword on the Courser and attacking with the Courser and the Knight. Currently, they have nothing that can block the Courser. They can play a Mutavault, and I think there's a few other creatures that, like the black creature that drains life for every sliver that attacks. I mean, they have creatures that can block, but that's fine with us, because if they're chump blocking, we're winning the game, because they need a mass amount of Slivers in order to beat us. So we don't mind that. And we do have a piece of removal here to get rid of anything that we find is too threatening, but I mean, we're gonna probably end up using it, why not? But the way I'm thinking is, once that sword is equipped and we're attacking with like a 5/5 or a 6/6 Knight and a Courser equipped, it's going to be very hard. So they play the Mutavault. You know, we could just use the knight to grab a ghost quarter, kill the Mutavault, get in with the courser with the sword, especially now since they have no actual creature that can block the courser. The problem is if they do play a creature that can block the courser, they block the courser. Yes, they lose a creature, but the whole purpose of killing the Mutavault with the ghost quarter would be to get in with the courser to then shoot down one of their flying slivers. The best play, in my opinion, here, the safest and best play is we're going to attack with the knight and the courser. We're going to attach the sword to the courser. This is going to give us 2 threats here. And what I'm thinking is this. They're either going to chump block the courser with the Mutavault, or they're going to set up a 3 or 4 on 1 block on the Knight of the Reliquary and vial something in to kind of have us make a mistake to take out our Knight of the Reliquary, get rid of one of our threats, right? Because they did not attack last turn, which tells us they're on defense. So that's basically telling me, hey, we need to get rid of one of these creatures that you have. It's very threatening, and we're not going to be able to get on offense unless we get rid of one of those creatures, which in this case is Knight of the Reliquary, which may incentivize them to do some type of 3 or 4 block on the knight to get rid of it, which for us is perfect because we have Path to Exile, so this can lead into a blowout. So I'm thinking they may play a Pump Sliver here or Unsettled Mariner, or probably the reason to hold up Vial. And there it is, Unsettled Mariner. That's fine. This is why another reason we did not want to Ghost Quarter the Mutavault. We did need a mana up so we can continue our plan here and path a creature. So I just, read the card just to make sure that it's one. And, again, there's only really 2 plays our opponent can play here. And since we know their only options, it's very easy for us to come up with a game plan, right? Like, they're either going to do this. If they do this, we do that. If they're either going to do this, if they do that, then we do this. So we're always one step ahead of them. And this is why it's so important to understand game plans when you play against certain decks. Once you understand a game plan, you can start playing towards that game plan, and then from there it kind of narrows down their options. And then the less options they have, then we can play to those. Like if they do this, we do that. If they do this, we do that. So let's see what the opponent does. It looks like the opponent wants to chump block the courser here and possibly take damage from the Knight of the Reliquary. That is an option. I think that's probably the best option. But after they retract the Mutavault and then go here, I immediately know, okay, they're going to go for the plan that I thought that was a possibility, which is they're just going to go with a bunch of creatures on the knight and try to take out the most threatening creature on the board so they can try to rebuild and go into a more aggressive game plan. But to me, it's like if you trade off these 3 creatures, even if we didn't have Path, right? That sword connects, it gets rid of your Cloud Sliver. Now you have a 1/1 and 2 cards in your hand. And we have a sword and a courser. Like, even if we didn't have Path there, I don't know. I don't agree with that block, but I don't play Slivers. Anybody who plays Slivers, let me know in the comment box if you agree with what I'm saying, if maybe there was another play that they did not see. Did they misplay? I know a lot of it has to do with what you had in your hand, but I personally don't think you blocked the knight there, although we did anticipate that, because if you are an aggressive deck and you're on defense, you have to get rid of whatever their threat is. I get it. So maybe it was either that or lose the game. I mean, even if they don't block the knight, they are in a losing position, right? Because they can't really attack us. So you can't blame them there. But let me know if there was another play. Let me know, any Sliver players, let me know in the comment box what they could have done differently. So here, this hand here, hand is decent. We have a Birds of Paradise, which can help us accelerate to that Winds of Abandonment. A Winds of Abandonment really good against these Sliver decks, because they're going to try to play their creatures out as fast as possible and aggro us out, like I mentioned before. Winds of Abandonment can just wipe out their entire board. We have Stoneforge Mystic, which is going to be able to grab us a Batterskull that's going to allow us to block anything that they play and gain us life, so it's going to slow down their game plan. It also helps us with our game plan, which is putting them on the back foot and making them more defensive than aggro, until we can set up this Wind of Abandonment. If need to be. We may not even need to set up the Wind of Abandonment. So some flanking action here, not too relevant. They don't have a vial, so they're not going to have those crazy explosives. Starts, you're probably going to be limited to playing 1 or 2 cards a turn. 2 being max. And if they're playing 2 cards a turn, they're not going to be very threatening, Slivers. Alright, so batter skull here. So we're doing pretty good. We're at 16. We grab a noble, which is perfect for us here because since we do have Winds of Abandonment, right now we're like, okay, we don't mind accelerating our mana because if we hit them with this Wind of Abandonment and they have like 1 or 2 cards in hand, and we have a batter skull in play, they're not going to be able to win. So Leeching Sliver, probably one of the better Slivers I think they could have drawn here, because this is going to not only deal damage when they attack, but also drain us. So it like doubles their aggro plan in a way. So that's something that we may consider pathing. Maybe. We're not sure yet at this point. I don't feel the need to have to kill anything currently. I don't feel really threatened by their board state here. We're going to have a batter skull that's going to be able to chump block whatever they throw at us. And if for some reason the batter skull has to trade with something, that's fine too, because then we can equip the batter skull to like a birds or something, and and just start gaining life, and basically they're not going to be able to do anything about that either. And then eventually we get to this Wind of Abandonment and just win the game. So we're really well positioned here. I don't play Slivers, but anybody who plays Slivers, please let me know. I don't know what they can draw at this point in time based on what we have. Obviously, they don't know what we have in our hand. They know we have Batter Skull, but I don't see anything they can play that would like beat us right now. But I could be wrong. I don't play this deck. But you guys let me know. You guys let me know. Okay, Cloud Shredder Sliver. That's a good sliver here. So here I'm thinking when they play this, should we path this sliver? And the other part of me is like, or not. Or just try to get the 4/1 with the Winds of Abandonment and be super greedy and save the path. In reality, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Like, either plan here, like, you're not going to lose, right? But if I wanted to play 100% tight, I would say I should have pathed the Cloud Shredder before they attacked, because I immediately, after they attack and I see the draining, I'm like, you know what, let's just go ahead and just path it anyways. Because once we get this Batter Skull in play, like, it doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't matter if we 4/1 them with the wins or 3/1. Like, we're so far ahead at this point. But if you're really focused on playing as tight as possible, which I do every time I look at my games, I want to play like as perfect as possible. The right play should have been stuck to the game plan. Just path, take the 3 rather than 4, land the Batter Skull, play another Stoneforge, grab the Sword of Fire and Ice. If you get in trouble, hopefully you draw into a land, Winds of Abandonment, clear the team, and take the victory. And without Aether Vial, man, these Sliver decks are like, I don't know, they're very slow, in my opinion. Especially since it requires them like a lot of creatures on board to win games. And that's like one thing that I don't like about these like type of creature decks where you require so many creatures. Like Elves is good because you can dump your hand really fast and you have Collected Company. Mono White Death and Taxes is good because your creatures disrupt the opponent, and you also have equipment to make them real threats. But like Slivers, I think it's good in certain matchups, but then you play against other creature decks like Tax and stuff like that. They just outclass your creatures. But yeah, you guys let me know if the opponent could have played better, what they could have done differently. In my humble opinion, I think in this matchup, there's really not much they could have done to win the game, but they could have played tighter, maybe with some of their blocks. Like I mentioned, like even when you lose a game, even if you lose and you're like, there's no way I could have won, you should still look at that game and say, okay, that's fine. It's okay that I could have not won this game. It doesn't matter. But Did I play 100%? What could I have tuned up? Because every game should be a learning tool for you to get better and better and better and tighter. There's plenty of games that I win that I have no business winning, but because I focus on playing as tight as possible every game, all it takes my opponent to make one little step or one little misdraw or us to get lucky in our draws for us to take the games. If you watch my videos, you see a lot of games like that. That's why it's so important to play these decks, learn them, understand your strategies, your game plan, and then just try to play as tight as possible. And that's how you're going to do it, Daniel-san. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos. It helps out a lot. And again, let me know in the comment section if you want to see any other decks or anything. I comment and I respond to everybody. Everybody get a response. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and peace out.